2 years ago I had a stroke, and I went blind, and then when my vision came back I couldn't read, and then I was able to read again. Everything kind of settled in my brain, and then after the stroke I was in some guy's car and the Dead was playing. I was like, who's that? He goes, that's the Dead. And I didn't even know, because they just weren't on my radar.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is awesome. So in the last 2 years I've just been listening to a lot of Grateful Dead.
Post-stroke Grateful Dead fan.
Yeah, post-stroke turned me into a Deadhead. I'm really into them now, and oh my God, that new Bob Weir record. So it's gotten me into all that stuff, and you know, the Dead stuff,
Yeah.
which then made me start going and looking at all the old Jerry Garcia stuff.
Right.
It's just like a layers of an onion you just keep peeling back.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, so what happened? Where were you?
Wilmington, Delaware, and I was just playing, and then all of a sudden I just couldn't see. Like, it started short-circuiting like a old television.
Yeah.
It was like, imagine your vision starts going, everything was moving around, and then I went blind.
Both eyes.
Both eyes. I could kind of see through like a little keyhole in my left eye. Like, I could kind of see people's silhouettes, but I didn't know what was happening. I was like, whoa, I've gone blind.
And this was on stage?
Yeah, so I didn't say anything. I just kept playing. But then I was totally confused because I'd gone blind and the stroke was happening, and I didn't know. I was trying to play. Somebody requested Single Life, the Rugburns song.
Old Rugburns song.
Yeah, and I was like, okay. But all I did was the second verse like 5 times in a row and then into the song. So I think I went, we could go to the lounge at the Holiday Inn, hear my favorite band play the latest Michael Jackson song about a boy with a really nice bike. This single life, it sure is fun. And I did the verse again, then I did it again, then I did it again. And people were laughing. I didn't know why they were laughing because I couldn't really see them. And then I was just like totally confused. And then after about an hour, I stopped.
Like, you just kept going on through the show even though you couldn't see.
Yeah.
And I guess you're so out of it, you're not like conscious of the fact. You're just like, well, I guess this is my life now. I don't see.
Yeah, I was like, maybe it happens to everybody.
So you finished the show, or you stopped after an hour, you said?
Stopped after about an hour, and then I just said, I gotta stop, I can't see. And
Were
looking
you
at me
slurring?
really weird. No. But I was just like, can you guys see? I can't see. And then the audience was like, yeah, we could see.
And so did you go right to the hospital, or did you like, oh, well, I'm just going to go to my hotel for a little
No,
bit?
some people were there and they drove me to the hospital. They made me go to the hospital. I was going to get in my car and drive, but they go, you can't even see.
So what was the diagnosis? Just straight stroke, minor stroke, major stroke?
It was like a full-on stroke. I was in the hospital for 7 days and just in the stroke ward.
The stroke ward.
Well, I didn't even play for a few months. I didn't want to play anymore. I was kind of like, when I got out, I was just like, it was like I was in a daze. I just wanted to listen to the Grateful Dead and just chill out and like not do anything.
Yeah, that's kind of like my everyday, but yeah,
Really?
Go on. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so I just, I didn't really want to play anymore. I thought I was done. And then I started playing again. It's weird.
Yeah, and did you have all your dexterity?
Yeah.
Like, you remember everything? Because, you know, Jerry had a stroke too.
He did?
No, wait. Jerry went into a coma, and he forgot how to play. He had to relearn guitar.
That's right.
So there's a little bit of a
Did you go into a
connection.
diabetic coma?
Yeah, he was in a diabetic coma, I think. I don't remember the exact years, but he had to relearn guitar. And then, I'm not sure if this was pre or post sitting around all day doing heroin and eating ice cream, but somewhere in there.
Is that what he would do?
Oh yeah, he used to sit in his easy chair and eat ice cream.
That's not going to be good for you. I broke my hand, this fourth metacarpal.
Yeah,
I was skiing in Canada,
yeah.
and I had to play a show. and I went out skiing, and the guy who owned the club, it was like the old fire hall or something in British Columbia. I don't even remember which city.
Yeah.
Some little town, Red Mountain or something. And the guy said, don't go skiing with Ian, the bartender. He's crazy.
Never go skiing with Ian, the bartender.
No.
Man.
And this guy had like a gap between his teeth.
That's just basic knowledge.
Bloodshot eyes. So I went skiing with Ian, even though I was warned not to, because he said, and I remember the guy was like, look, your show's sold out tonight, and I need to make my mortgage on this building. My wife's mad that I even own this. And then he said, don't go. And I went, and then sure enough, the first run of the day, I crashed on the cat track.
Yeah.
Like I fell and landed on the cat track, and the bone popped through my hand, and I was like, oh, I'm completely screwed.
Yeah.
And so they took me to the emergency room, and then I was like, I don't have any insurance. And the guy said, well, we can get this guy to fix it for you for free. He's like a fan of your music.
For real?
Yeah. So like this doctor, I had to meet him in the like a janitor's room, you know?
Yeah.
Like not where everybody else was.
Sounds really sanitary.
Yeah. And he like had to reset the bone and wrapped it up and casted it. It was in this pink cast. And the guy had told him I'd won Grammys, but I'd never won a Grammy. So the guy lied
Yeah.
to get this guy, because the guy said he was a fan of my music.
I was about to say, I thought he was a fan.
Yeah, he was a fan, but not big enough, I guess. I
Yeah.
don't know. They told him I won Grammys. And the guy goes, you know, and the guy was wrapping my hand up and everything, and he was like, what'd you win a Grammy for?
So what'd you tell
In the
him?
middle of doing it, I go, I've won so many. I can't, like, which one are you talking about? Like, I just didn't want him to stop fixing my hand.
Well, you could have made something up at that point.
I know, I probably should have. And then when he was done, I said, hey, man, I've never won a Grammy. And then he goes, well, I'm just a janitor.
That's a good story.
But no, that's what I broke my hand, and that guy really did. That did happen.
Really?
Yeah, seriously.
So he was a doctor, and he knew what he was
Yeah.
doing, and did he do a good job?
Yeah, I did a great job.
Yeah.
But I couldn't play guitar for like months. What's weird is I had to play a show that night, and the guy said, I warned you not to go skiing with them. You need to go up and just talk.
Tell
Just
stories.
talk for at least 10 minutes, because then people will feel sorry for you, and I can still sell the dinners.
Yeah.
So I go, okay. So I went up, and he goes, just talk for like 15 minutes. I ended up talking for like 90, like telling all these stories. And then this guy was in the audience from Australia, and he said, after the show, he goes, hey man, I want to have you come do a show at my house in Australia. And I go, okay. So I was on tour in Australia and booked it with him, and then I showed up and I had my guitar because my hand was healed. He goes, what's the guitar for? I hired you to talk. It was so one of the weirdest things. I go, oh, but I sing.
I'm a musician.
He was like, well, I just want you to talk. So I had to like talk him into letting me sing.
And then did you tell stories anyway? 'Cause that's
Yeah,
what
and he goes,
wanted?
well, I really want stories. And I go, okay, I'll do that. Because I don't know about this music thing. But now we've become friends. But it was so weird. So I hired a guy to come out on the road, and he learned all the left-handed guitar parts, and I did the right hand. And I would stand by him on stage, and so he'd be going like, he'd be this left hand.
And you'd be doing the right?
It was so fun.
Did it
He
work?
even learned this song. He learned.
I know where you're going with this.
You know how hard that is to do, to time with somebody else's hand?
I bet it's real hard.
So that was crazy, because I would, and then sometimes he'd just play the songs with the band. We were out with the band, and I would run around, I had a cast on my hand.
Yeah.
And then it was just about healed, and we were at a Cracker Barrel, and I had these slippery shoes on, and I was, for some reason, I started chasing our bass player, and we were hitting each other in the head or something
Yeah.
that you do on the road. and I slipped and landed on my hand, and I fucked it up so bad again, and I was like, I wanted to start crying. I loved the Beatles, of course, you know?
Yeah.
Every time they came out with a new record was amazing. That's what was so cool about growing up in that time. You would be so excited knowing there was this new record coming out.
It's so funny. I just published an interview today with another Stephen Wilson.
Oh, he's a dick.
Is he?
No, I don't know.
I was like,
I'm kidding.
He doesn't know you, Stephen. And he said the same thing. He's like, you know, we don't have that anymore, that whole anticipation of a new album coming out. It's sort of like it's streamed by, you can hear it before it's out. There used to be good anticipation.
Yeah, it's just a different world. I don't know whether it's better or worse. Who knows? It just is. I just kind of go with the flow.
How do you consume music? Do you buy CDs, or do you download, or do you just not do it at all?
I just...
Because it's stuff.
I don't like CDs, even though I sell them. Like, I don't want things. So I listen to it on Spotify, YouTube, whatever, just on my phone.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
All the things that don't pay us.
There is no money in that.
No, it's everybody can rant against it all they want, and I'm glad somebody's fighting for us, but I don't even complain about it. I make my living on the road, and I love, you know, I can hear anything I want to hear. Like, I guess I listen to whatever the hell I want to listen to nowadays because it's so easy to find, and I'll learn a song on classical guitar because there's a lesson on YouTube.
Right.
So everything is on my iPhone, and that's why I don't need a lot, because if I have an iPhone and I have my guitar, I don't care if somebody's late to get me 5 hours. Oh, he's a dick.